So, hello everyone. As Suzan said, thank you for introducing me. My name is Gabriel. I work as a customer success manager at UserGuiding, and our topic is going to be about customer retention, how to maximize it with scalable strategies. We are going to use our own company as a reference. So, what kind of strategies we have been applying that have been successful to us. So the first strategy that we want to talk about is implementing a customer-centric culture. Yeah, so everyone should be involved in that. So at UserGuiding, it all started with our leaders. So our co-founder, who is also the head of engineering, our marketing managers, our product managers, they all, in the very beginning of the company, they all started with working with customer support. So helping customers with their issues, solving their problems, getting feedback and insights from them, and also identifying their pain points. So when I joined the company, I really noticed that it doesn't matter the department, everyone at UserGuiding, they were concerned about the customer needs. And the good thing about that, when you have a very customer-centric approach and it is very well established in a company, is that it does not matter if 5 new people are joining your company or 50 people or 100 people are joining your company. They are all going to be absorbed into this customer-centric culture in a very natural way. Another thing that we do that really supports a customer-centric culture is that customer feedback is easily accessible to all our teams. So it's not information that is isolated with customer success team members or support team members. So we use a few platforms, and we share the feedbacks that we get from customers there. It doesn't matter if it's coming from success meetings or customer support conversations. Everyone in the company, they get notifications about that, and they can check these insights and create their own to-dos that are relevant to their departments regarding these insights. Also, we listen to our customers before making business decisions. So this is very important for us. So every project, even though it is going to be a big project, it starts small. So it's very important that you base your project on the customer's needs and their requests. So if the project gets big, complex, and robust, the chances that it's going to be successful are much higher because you are creating a project based on your customer demands and not only on your company demands. Also, we link our team goals with the customer's desired outcomes. So of course, every team is going to have their own goals. It does not matter if it's a short-term goal or if it's a mid-term goal or a long-term goal. So why not to relate, to associate these goals with the customer's outcomes, with the customer's desires, so that it's a kind of a win-win situation where you are motivating your employees to achieve goals, but at the same time, these goals are going towards what the customer also wants and needs as well. And finally, recently we have been also reaching subscribers who have churned to schedule some interviews with them. We have noticed that we were using only churn surveys or email follow-ups, and we felt that they were not enough. We needed more feedback. We needed more insights from our customers. So we decided to deal with these interviews, and it has a huge impact on us. We are getting much more insights, much more feedback from them. Of course, sometimes we have to give them some incentives, some gift cards to, of course, motivate them to speak, because usually if you are churning, you just want to leave that company, of course. So it's a great opportunity that we are having. And once you identify the churn patterns by these interviews, you can prevent hundreds, maybe thousands of other customers from churning from the same reason. And regarding that, I'm also going to mention what the big companies are doing in terms of customer retention. Of course, we have many strategies when it comes to customer retention, but it's important for your company to really choose the main one. Okay, what's going to be your main strategy when it comes to customer retention? So let's see what are the main ones for these ones. So Amazon, for instance, they have an amazing data capability that delivers Amazon unparalleled insight into customer behaviors, needs, and practices. So Amazon is all about customer data. Whereas Apple focused on maintaining a high level of innovation that involves creativity and a mindset that challenges conventions and standards. So when you buy an Apple product, you are kind of already expecting for their next release. You are already excited to buy their next product. So they really keep their customers coming back based on innovation. And of course, Salesforce, which is a very well-known company in the CS field, they prioritize customer success as a core company value. So that's why they still having a very high customer retention rate. So when we talk about user guiding's main strategy for customer retention, it's of course onboarding, which is also our product. So Suzan is going to continue with this part.
Thank you, Gabriel. So I actually started a poll like while you are not here, and I'm going to resume. I'm going to relaunch it. And if people would like to participate, now it's time to participate. I'm going to keep it for a while. %, answers. Okay. Okay, I think I can end it now. The poll was, how do you onboard your new users? It was a multiple choice. Of course, like 45% of our attendees are answered. And the lead is meeting, one-on-one meeting. 82% of the, actually, I'm going to share the results. Yeah, I can share. Yeah, everybody can see it. One-on-one. And then, is user onboarding a pain point for you? Yeah. Okay, it's like 50-50, not really and painkiller. Okay, exactly. It will be an interesting discussion then. So yeah, today I'm going to talk about user onboarding and how it is one of the most important strategies that you can apply to have a better retention rates. And first of all, I will talk about what it means for retention, what is the role of onboarding, and how you can optimize it, and what's the ways that you can optimize it and why. And then I'm going to share some stories from UserGuiding from our company, and then how we operate on this strategy. So to get started, why focus on onboarding? Actually, at this point, you can imagine any cohort analysis that you see users starting to use your product, and then over time, you watch them if they are staying with your product or not. And without no exception, there are people at the beginning, they're using it, and within no time, maybe in one day, they drop out, they leave without using it. So they just use it once and then they never come back. But of course, there are some people, they do stick with your product, and eventually they are the ones who build a habit of using it. So if in that perspective, if you improve your onboarding, if you can increase the percentage of people who will stay for the second day and the third day, it will be the biggest driver for your retention, because you will have a bigger user base to work with. And of course, today we are going to talk about retention, but I think the user onboarding is also one of the biggest drive for your acquisition as well, because most scalable strategies like getting new users depend on retaining users. So your current users can talk about you to other people, and they can distribute your product. They can be advocates, and the you can gain more money by having users, and so that you can use that source on your marketing strategies, on your sales strategies to grow your business. So not only for retention, but also for acquisition is also one of the biggest drives. So can we come back to previous slide? Gabby is helping me on the slides. Yeah, thank you. So, and optimizing user onboarding. Okay, so what should you optimize and why? I would like to start with why you should optimize it, because if you don't, there are things that could happen when you don't invest on your user onboarding. First of all, new people come and they get confused, and they are trying to figure out your product, but you're not teaching them how to do so. And if people's first experience is hard, like challenging and confusing, they will drop out. So they won't be the percentage who will stick with you, and they're gonna leave before start paying. Or let's say they are going to pay, they're going to stay with you, but we generally expect them to churn. And our data and our insight as customer success people shows us they will churn. Because if you can think about the main reasons of cancellations or churn is that people say they didn't engage with your product, they don't know how to use it, they have hard time, they think that it's not user friendly, and they're not seeing any value. So all of these are actually related to bad experiences, and a weak user onboarding experience is that what we call is a bad experience. And let's say, okay, they did stuck with you, like they will be idle users on your platform. So you will have a misconception of your growth, because they can tomorrow or the other day they can leave. And those idle users, since they don't get any benefit, they won't promote you. They are not going to benefit to your acquisition. And the worst scenario is that they will be users and they will be existing users. And instead of focusing your new users, maybe focusing enough, you're going to focus on your existing users. And in that time span, you're going to develop and improve your product based on their needs. For instance, an existing user, they find a way to get a value from your product, and they will want more complex features from you. They are going to request new capabilities. And since you need to keep those people, you're going to improve your product, but this means that your complex product is going to get more complex, and it is going to make much more harder for new users to comprehend the complexity of your tool and get the benefit. So, and I will talk about the whys, but of course, what you can do to optimize onboarding. There are multiple suggestions and tools, methodologies for that. But I think if the logic behind is understood, every business model have the capability to create their own optimization and best strategy. For that, I would suggest starting with what is the metric that you should be measuring? Because when the improvement is the subject matter, we need to able to measure it. So what will be the metric that you will be measuring? And to find that metric, there's a first step. First step is defining a key action in your product. So what is a key action is that if a user taking a certain action and at the end reaching to a valuable moment, or the experience through the whole journey provides a benefit, it has a meaning for the user, that action, we say that it's a key action. And the second step is that how often would you expect someone to receive that value? Like how often you want them to take the key action? So I will be talking about, we can pass on to the second slide, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you. So defining key action and starting, and I will talk about the aha moment now. And also, of course, finding the metric, finding the key action and the frequency it might take some time, but let's think about it. So if your business has a product market fit, it means that you have existing users. So some people reach the point that they have the habit of using your product. So actually the point that's stopping you to lose users is that when they get to the habit moment, because when you think about any retention interval, that the perception is that if a user is using my product this week, they're going to use next week. If they're using this month, they're going to use it next month. So we need to build a habit, and we know that building the habit is not immediate, it takes time, but how long does it take, and what are the actions people need to take to get to that habit moment? This is where we are going to focus. And like these are the metrics that you need to keep track of. Then you will use them to design to the path to the aha moment. So how long does it take is the portion, the time interval that you are going to try to reduce, because with an efficient onboarding, with taking the clutter from the path, with providing a fluent and efficient user and onboarding experience, you are going to reduce that time to take the key action. And also in that way, you're going to encourage to take more key actions, and the time spent is getting less, and the activation is being encouraged. At the end, what we will reach is the habit. So as you can remember from the my explanation's first part, we are thinking about the key action and the time. This is the two metrics that we are going to measure. And people who will stick with you, the ones who are on the path, they are the ones taking the action and building the habit. So I again mentioned about designing the path to that aha moment, the point that people have a meaningful experience and get a benefit. So how could you design that path? There are many ways of doing it. The logic of the design is that having a effortless and like enjoyable path. So in that case, for instance, in your UX, if you have problems, if it's challenging to the people, try focus on fixing them. We get many feedbacks from our users. They are actually talking to us about the friction points that they have. So try to work on these friction points. So and based on these experiences and friction points, by providing the efficient experience, we will make people feel confident and supported. And in your platform, if people feel that they know how to take a certain action, they're feeling encouraged, they will be active ones. They will engage, and they will always take the next step. And they are the ones who want to start their day and start with your product, working on your product. So of course, cluttering the paths, making the UX better, creating these flows and paths. You might wonder if the improving the onboarding, user onboarding, is only a job for customer success managers teams, because there are things to do. So I think, and we think, is that this is not just a customer success problem. It's not just a marketing or sales problem. It requires a cross-functional teams working together: product designers, engineers, product managers, customer success teams. All these came together to figure out how to build the right experience, onboarding experience, so people can take value from your product. Which again, another question is that where does onboarding end? Then the core product experience begins. For instance, in our company, in UserGuiding, our user onboarding team is entirely responsible for the entire initial product experience until a new user reached the habit moment. So we are still experimenting, and we are pushing boundaries. We are trying to figure out new habits for our users. But what we found is that It might sound scary, but it's definitely worth to sweat. So we put a lot of thinking and like we made a lot of iterations on our onboarding and that. But since we started working on onboarding as a team at User Guiding, we have a lot of larger gains on our retention, which is the foundation of our consistent growth today. So we can pass on to the next slide. So currently what we have is actually 2 onboarding checklists. They are the ones automatically onboarding our new users, and they work for 24/7. Each of them contains certain amount of guides. Right now we are seeing only the first checklist, and when this one is completed, we are firing a second checklist to the people. The first checklist has 2 states, as you can see in the left. The one on the left, 2 guides are completed. This means that this user completed 2 key actions because each guide is correlated to the key action that we are using as a milestone on the path to our aha moment. So completing the first checklist is first aha moment that we have, and completing the second checklist is the second aha moment. And at that point, we know that our users are building an habit. And when you look at our conversion data, when you look at our retention data, our users who are completing the checklist, 2 checklists, are the ones sticking with us. So, and the thing is that, let's say, of course, scalability, we are going to talk about the scalable projects, scalable techniques that we apply. But let's say tomorrow we are going to have 10-fold more users, and it's not going to affect at all because thousands of people can come in one day. These will be the checklist they are going to encounter because this is the starting point, and we have building blocks in our platform that we are continually onboarding people. So I'm all done.
Thank you, Suzan.
Yeah, and you can continue. Thank you for listening.
To finish, the last strategy that we're going to mention is building trust between you and your customers. Can seem a bit simple but I don't see anything that it's more like important than your customers building trust in terms of customer retention. So I've just listed here a few to-dos that we do to achieve high customer retention rates. So we are present on all our communication channels. It doesn't matter if it's our Slack community or if it's on Intercom or if it's by email, and not only support and customer success, but all our departments that somehow are communicating with customers. They are active and very responsive with our customers. Also, we keep adding upgrades and releasing new versions of our product in a kind of a short term, so that if you are a subscriber and you are paying monthly or yearly, you have this feeling that, okay, of course, I'm already satisfied with the product, that's why I'm paying, but I can see that there is a room for improvement, and I can see that the product that I'm paying, they have expectations for the future, so the product is going to get better. So as a customer, I get much more confident that I'm paying for something that is going to produce fruits also in the future as well. That plays a big role on the trust part. Also, we invite our subscribers to success meetings and user interviews. So the user interviews, for instance, they are conducted by our product managers. So it's very important for your customer base, your customers, to have this more personal touch, so that you can hear them and they can really explain to you what are their main business needs, why they are using your product. And based on these insights, it's like gold for us. We can improve so much more than if we are just looking at metrics without talking to people. Also, we take responsibility in our company when things go wrong. So some people can say that admitting mistakes as a company can be seen as a weakness, but we don't see like that. When you are honest, when you are true to your customers, of course, we work with technology, so things can go wrong. We are, of course, human beings, and things don't go well all the time. So if you have a very honest approach with your customers, you can actually diminish their frustration because of the problem, because they can see, oh, good, I'm having a relationship with honest people, so that's worth it for them. Also, all information that we provide to our leads and customers is transparent about the product's features and limitations. So on our pricing page, on the demos that we lead, we are very transparent, we are very honest. So what the software currently offers, what's the current picture that we have for our software. So we are very honest, very transparent about that. So if you are a lead, if you are a trial user and you become a subscriber, you have set realistic expectations about the product. Of course, that does not mean that the product is going to evolve and the product is going to get better, but you have a clear picture of what the product can offer now and its limitations as well. So this is really important for trust as well. And finally, our customers also have a chance to talk to other employees, not only customer success people and support. So for example, we have a Slack community that our customers can come up with any topics that they wish. And sometimes if it's more related to the development part, our developers can go to the thread and talk to them. So this is something that adds a lot of value to the customers, so that they feel that the company is really alive. So I'm not being treated as a number. I'm not only restricted to talking to support people, but the company is showing itself as a whole, not only restricted to a specific team as well. And I think we're done. Suzan, if you want to add something, otherwise we can go for questions as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriel. We have one question from Adina, and she's asking that what is your success rate for the churn interviews? How many do actually reply, participate?
Yes, in most cases, I think it's, to be honest, almost 100%, because as I said, we give them some incentives like gift cards. Of course, we have to be realistic. If you are churning from a company, you don't usually want to go to an interview. That's why we give these gift cards. Sometimes we can see that as a cost, as an expense to the company, but I don't see like that. I think it's a great investment to, you know, if you have to pay for someone to receive very insightful feedback, just go for it. You know, this is going to be the best way to spend your money. So I think it's almost yes, Suzan, all of them accept.
Yeah, yes. Of course, there are some people, they have busy schedules, and luckily we don't have very high churn rate. Yes. It is a rare occasion for us, but when it happens, we are encouraging people to meet with us, especially with our product team. Like it's a different kind of conversation that we want to have. We really would like to go to the root of the problem so we can solve it for other people. Roy asks that, what do you do with customers that believe they don't need your product and won't replace you with a competitor?
Yes. Of course, it's common for us it's really important for us as customer success managers and also for the support members to understand what are the company goals and the company needs. And of course, we try our best to suit them with our product. But as I said before, we are also very honest about our current software, what we have to offer. So there are some projects that are still in development. So we tend to be just very honest. We don't offer that at the moment, but immediately we have weekly meetings between the customer success team and the product team. So we bring that to them, we bring these insights. And as I said, we have platforms where we share these customers' insights with everyone. So if a user is leaving us and going to another competitor, immediately all our teams are going to be aware of that. And of course, this is going to be prioritized as well.
Yeah. I think in Roy's case, he's asking that the customer believes that they don't need the product, also they won't replace you with a competitor. So they might not need it. Actually, if your solution is solving a problem with your customers, then this is your main focus that we believe. And if at that time span people think that it's not their need using your product, then if you're able to explain yourself, when I say yourself, your product, your solution in a better way, I believe it will have some seeds, and eventually when the need occurs, people will come back and they're going to remember you as a proactive and insightful platform. Because I think what it counts is that the trace of human contact and the information that you leave. And yeah, I don't know, maybe a strategy that convincing them to stay could be interesting here, but this is what I would think. I think we don't have any more questions. So finally, I'm going to push a final poll and then we are going to finish. And let me find the polling. I'm sharing the previous one.
Suzan, I think there is a last question.
Oh, can you read it if it's not, if it's a question that I didn't read it?
Sure. No, sorry, my bad.
Okay. Yeah. So I just would like to remind you that after finishing our event in a couple of days, so we are going to send a recording to you with a recap, so you can have the playback of our event if you would like to come back to this insight and news. Also, we are gonna send you a certification of the recognition of your attendance here. We can thank you enough. Thank you for sharing your valuable time. Thank you for answering our polls and your valuable questions. We really hope to see you in our next event. And if you would like to contact us, you can contact us through any user guiding communication channel, and you can contact me and Gabriel on LinkedIn. We would like to come together and discuss more customer success strategies because we are always learning. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening, people all over the world.